Hello, and welcome to Crescent Podcast, where we discuss all things business, parenting, with a lot of discussion around neurodivergence thrown in the mix. I'm your host, Lucy Jessie, and I run Crescent Digital Marketing, where I work with neurodivergent-led businesses to create authentic and accessible online content. A big shout out to our wonderful sponsor, Purple Frog Signs, who are based in Gillingham. They help with any of your professional signage needs, from design right through to printing and delivery, and they do it with a heavy focus on sustainability as they work. So big thanks to them. If you want to find out more, head over to their website, purplefrogsigns.com, or you can find them online at Instagram or LinkedIn. So today I am going to give you a permission slip. Actually, no, I'm going to change that. I'm going to remind you that you don't need anyone's permission in the first place. So when I started my business, I spent a lot of time trying to follow conventional business advice. I joined the big networking groups, even though they made me anxious. I forced myself to make phone calls when an email would have been clearer and better for me. I wanted to maintain a 9-to-5 schedule, even though that doesn't work for me and my lifestyle, especially when I tend to work better in the evenings. I said yes to opportunities I should have turned down because I thought that's what business owners were supposed to do. And obviously when you're starting out, you kind of say yes to everything because it's all income, right? So what happened? I was exhausted. I was stressed. My business wasn't particularly successful because I was spending so much time and energy trying to be something I wasn't. The work I was producing was fine. It wasn't excellent because how can you do your best work when you're using half your brain power to just appear normal in massive inverted commas? How can you be creative and strategic if you're constantly monitoring yourself to make sure you're behaving in the professionally acceptable ways? And I then had a conversation with another business owner who's actually also neurodivergent. And they said something that kind of changed the way I looked at it. They said, "Why are you following rules that nobody actually wrote down?" Or something to that effect. But they were right. Like, most of the rules that we have about how to run a business aren't rules at all. They're just what people do the way it's always been done, which is such a dangerous phrase that I hear in businesses. And if most people are neurotypical and their brains are wired differently, they work differently. So when it comes to a neurodivergent brain and a neurodivergent way of working, something else needs to work for them. So nobody's going to come along and give you permission to run your business differently. But you don't need that permission. You just need to give yourself the freedom to do what works for you. So what are some of these unwritten rules, and why are you allowed to break them? No, not allowed, but why should you break them if they don't work for your brain? First, networking. Everyone says networking is essential for business growth. And I do believe that. I agree with that a lot. Networking has benefited me personally and professionally. But they say you should go to the events, meet people, build connections, attend industry conferences, make small talk, exchange business cards, follow up over and over. And yes, building connections is obviously genuinely important for business growth. I have no problem with that at all. But networking doesn't mean you have to attend crowded events that make you physically uncomfortable, where you have to make small talk with strangers for 2 hours and come away with business cards of people that you're not necessarily going to work with. You might make genuine connections, but it's not necessarily going to work. And if it doesn't work for you, then it's not worth doing. I've been at networking events, typically the really big ones, and I've got a smartwatch and it will tell me when my heart rate goes too high. And I have to have it set quite high anyway because I am a naturally very anxious person. But when it goes off, it's normally at a networking event when I'm talking to people, because if it's at a big event like that, it just doesn't work for me. I don't hate the traditional in-person networking events, but you've got to find the one that works for you. I've said this so many times, but there are different ones that work for different people. If it's the big one with 120 people in a room, the noise level just hurts. I can't concentrate on anything. And I want to hear what people have got to say to me in a conversation. So it's really difficult when I'm trying to listen, but all I can think is that there's this noise around. And I've tried the earplugs and things like that to help, but I just find it easier to not do events like that or find quieter corners where it's not quite so intense. And it can be very superficial, and I hate superficial conversations. I hate small talk. I can do it, I can get through it, but it's so draining. And I've sometimes needed whole days to recover if I've been to a networking event one day. The next day I just can't function and talk to people because it's hard work. And the pressure to have my elevator pitch or my 60 seconds ready and be enthusiastic and professional while internally I'm focusing on just surviving that minute. No, I can't do it. So for me, it's the smaller events, the structured or guided might be a better word, conversations around a table. The noise is less, you can hear people. You can see if you've got some sort of synergy with someone. That was not a deliberate name drop, but synergy networking events are literally this. To see if you can find, if you've got that click with someone where you could potentially work together, or you know that you believe that they would do a good job, so you recommend them to someone. So that was an unplanned name drop, but you are welcome, Linda and team. One-on-one coffee meetings with people I've connected with online and in person, I find those easier. It's quieter, I can focus more, conversation can get that bit deeper, and I can give that person my full attention much better than being overwhelmed by the sensory input of a busy, chaotic event. I have found some communities on social media groups and online groups. I can participate when I have the energy and step back a bit when I don't. And then I can build those relationships slowly, sometimes see them in person, and do that gradually, working with my energy levels and how I'm feeling. That works better for me. And I'm very honest about that when I talk to people and when I meet them. So they know what to expect. If I'm not on every single day replying to messages and things like that, that's just not what works for me. And I found that these have led to better business connections than any of the bigger networking did. I've got clients who have found me by looking on blog posts and Google searches, and collaborations and projects that I've done have come from some more of these organic meetings. And I've actually built genuine friendships with other business owners through all of these communities. And I'm so grateful for that, because especially working on your own as a sole trader or a solopreneur, whatever your favourite term is, you're on your own, it's you. So having these friendships, and they are now friendships, it's not an acquaintance or a business colleague, they're friends, and that's brilliant. So you're allowed to network in whatever way actually works for your brain. If traditional events work for you, then brilliant. But if they don't, that's okay, and you can find other ways to build connections. The goal is to build the connections, not to attend the events. The events are like the means to an end, and if it doesn't work for you, you can find something else. So second, let's discuss working hours. There's this assumption that if you're not working Monday to Friday, 9 to 5, then you're not serious about your business, which is absolute rubbish. I often do some of my best work after 8 p.m. For a couple of hours, I can get my head down and do some work, and I can be really productive, provided the kids have gone to bed, on time. I find that sometimes that's when my brain is clear, there are no distractions, my caring responsibilities are settled for the day, and I can just get into a good state of flow for a couple of hours. And that evening window might be the time that I produce my best work, rather than here and there during the day between meetings, etc. Should I force myself to work when my brain is foggy and I'm not 100% focused on it, or I've got other responsibilities, my caring or meetings or whatever it is? No, you work when it works best for your brain. And your clients will care about the results, not when you produce the results. And they won't care if it's done at 9 a.m. or 9 p.m. as long as the work's done on time. So the 9 to 5 thing, it's over as far as I'm concerned. So I'm not saying everyone should work evenings. That does not work for everybody. Some people can get up at 4 a.m. and crack on and do work, and fair play. I am not a morning person. But that's the point. There's no universal right answer. You do what works for you. I think you're going to be sick of me saying that by the time of this podcast. So I've stopped feeling guilty about not working standard full-time schedule. I'm a full-time carer, a business owner, a mum, a wife, I've got a house to run. I've got 2 dogs and now an aquarium full of fish, as you do. So some weeks I might work 30 hours, other weeks it might be less. But my business can accommodate that. And as long as, with regards to my business, my clients are happy, that's all that matters to me. So third, the idea that you need to be available all the time. I used to I'd reply to emails immediately, all the time, no matter what time of day it was. But the theory that responding to emails within an hour is good customer service actually kind of just reinforces the thought that you're readily available all the time, that you should always answer the phone when clients call. Clients will then start to think that you're available at the drop of a hat. And that's not sustainable. And that is how you burn out and you end up resenting your business and your clients. If you've got clear communication and boundaries, you can actually create better customer service than being constantly available. I recently had one client. I was on a train at ridiculous o'clock in the morning going up to an event in London. Higher voltage. It was amazing. Go if you can next year. And I was on the train and it was not even 7 o'clock. And a client had emailed me a bit out of the blue. I don't hear from him particularly often. The work just kind of flows month on month. And he'd sent me an email and I just glanced at it on the train, knowing I wasn't going to be available really to do work that day because I was going to be in this conference. It was a minor thing that needed dealing with, and I knew he wasn't asking me to jump on it right then, but I just did a reply. Yes, I've seen this. Send me all the info. I'll look into it. I'm not in the office today, but I'll get it done by the end of the week, or I'll have a look and get back to you. And his immediate reply was, why are you replying to this? It's too early for work. Have a good day and we'll catch up next week. And that's what I love about my clients. It was so genuine. He was like quite horrified that I was replying to an email at 7 o'clock in the morning. And that's not normally something I would do, but I did it then just to let him know that I wouldn't be responding that day or possibly the next day, but I would get it done as soon as possible. And he completely gets that. So it was a lovely little interaction. I always tell my clients up front, I'll respond to emails within 24 to 48 hours to give myself a bit of leeway during the weekdays. If something's really urgent, I'm here for that. This is the process that we do. Like, because it happened with my client the other day, he appreciated the clarity. They know what to expect, and he knows what it's like working with me. We're working together for 9 months now, I think. And yeah, he knows how I work, that I do good work for him. We work very well together, and that's what it should be about. And all my clients then know that when I do respond to them, I'm giving thoughtful, thorough responses instead of rushed answers fired off between other tasks. And no one's ever complained about my response time, not once, because I set clear expectations from the start and I consistently meet those expectations. Compare that to when I used to be available all the time. I was constantly checking my phone, interrupting my work to respond to emails immediately. taking calls that weren't expected, that disrupted my day. I was stressed and scattered, and my service quality wasn't so good because I was trying to do everything at once. So clear boundaries, better work, better service, sustainable business. Being available all the time just creates burnout, and that's not good for anybody. Fourth, the pressure to be visible on every platform, to post content daily, to build a huge following, constantly put yourself out there. It's exhausting. And as a social media manager, I totally get that. So I'm going to be honest, I am not on every single social media platform. I'm on some that I don't really post on very much. It's more to explore things, see what works and what doesn't. And the ones that I focused on, LinkedIn, Facebook and Instagram, occasionally TikTok, I'm getting into that a little bit more. But I've chosen them because they work for my business and my brain. I don't post every single day. I post regularly, but for me, that means 2 to 3 times a week, not daily. It might be sometimes I post more than that if I've got something particularly exciting going on, or I've just been to an event, or I got a great review or something like that. Or my Instagram stories. Sometimes I'll post once a day, and another time I might post 4 times a day. So my stories are a little bit more fluid, but my main posts is 2 to 3 times a week. And if you find that social media drains you, then you don't have to do it as much. I would highly recommend being consistent in what you do and what you post. But if you prefer blog posts to making videos and reels, then do that instead. And then you can share that through your social media. If you get most of your clients through word of mouth, you might not need a massive social media presence, and that's fine. And don't get caught up in the vanity metrics of, I've just got 1,000 followers, 10,000 followers, 100,000 followers. You could have all the followers in the world, but if no one's buying from you or using your service, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. So you need your marketing strategy to work for you, your brain, and your business, and not do something just because other people do it. Obviously, I know there are things that you can put in place. You can do batch content creation, scheduling, all of that to help you with your social media, but do it at a pace that suits you and your business. I get clients from my website, word of mouth, sometimes from social media posts, and sometimes people that have found me on Google from various things where I've come up. I don't have a huge following. I don't go viral. I don't create daily content. My business is still successful because the marketing I do is targeted and genuine and authentic. I know a lot of people don't like that word, but I love it. And I don't see the problem with being authentic. People buy from people. If you like someone, you like what they do and you want to buy from them, that's it. That's what it's all about. So, fifth, the expectation that you'll say yes to every opportunity, that turning down work is unprofessional or short-sighted. I've turned down work. Sometimes I've questioned myself whether or not I made the right decision, but with hindsight, yes, I've made the right decision to turn down the clients or potential clients that I haven't wanted to work with, or I haven't felt that kind of click with them. Generally, the opportunities that I turn down involves work that doesn't suit my brain or my lifestyle, or things that just don't gel with me. And I say no to events that drain me. And my business is better for it. I'm better for it. And if I'm better, I can produce better work for my clients. If you say yes to everything, you end up overwhelmed and doing work you're not passionate about, working with clients who aren't ideal and you don't really care about, and you burn yourself out trying to be everything to everyone. But if you're selective, you can do excellent work for clients who value what you bring. I have energy to maintain the quality of my work and enjoy what I'm doing. So being selective can make your business more successful, not less. And then you draw in more clients who can see what you do and like the results, and they want some of that too. So you're allowed to say no. You're allowed to be selective. You're allowed to build a business that serves clients you actually enjoy working with. doing work you're actually good at and passionate about. 6, the myth that you need to offer everything and be everything, that you need to constantly expand your services and take on whatever clients ask for. I've kind of narrowed down my services over time, I think, not expanded them, because I've focused on what I'm genuinely brilliant at. And that's the social media. I'm more about the content creation, the social media for neurodivergent businesses. I don't want to do things that I'm mediocre at or that drain my energy. Even if people pay me for them, it's not going to be good. The result won't be as good. But I know lots of people around me who can do those things, so I can recommend other people. But this focus has made my business stronger. I'm known for my expertise now, and clients can come to me because they want what I specifically offer, not because I'm just another social media manager. There's plenty of social media managers out there, and that's fine. You find the one that works for you. And I know I can do excellent work because I'm working with my strengths. So you don't need to offer every service under the sun. You need to offer the services you're excellent at providing, that you enjoy providing, and that serve your ideal clients well. And one of the key things I've learned about running a business your way is that you need to be honest about what you can sustainably maintain. So for me, I focus on marketing channels that I genuinely enjoy. I love Instagram. Facebook, I like that more personally, but Instagram for business, I love it. I like writing blog posts and creating social media content. I like creating videos. I've obviously got my podcast, which is all done on my terms, recorded when I have energy and when I've got great guests. And it's something I chose to do. I didn't feel remotely pressured into doing it. I love doing it, and I'm going to keep doing it. I have clear boundaries about my time and my energy. I work when my brain works well. I rest when I need rest. I protect my caring time fiercely, and I've built a business that respects these boundaries rather than constantly pushing against them. I'm selective about who I work with, turn down projects that aren't a good fit, because it's not worth my energy to work with the wrong client on the wrong project. And I don't apologise for how I run my business. I don't say, sorry, I don't do the big networking events. I say, I prefer the smaller ones where I can have a proper chat. Why don't we go for a coffee? So I'm not apologising for my boundaries. I'm explaining them as a professional practice that benefits my clients. And running your business your way doesn't mean making excuses for poor service or typically unprofessional behaviour. It means finding a professional approach that works with your brain. So you can be professional and neurodivergent. You can have boundaries and be successful. You can do things differently and still run an excellent business. And they're not contradictory things, they're actually complementary. So typically I schedule calls in advance with my clients so I know when we're meeting up, what we're talking about, so that I can be in the right headspace for it and give them my full attention. I'm fully prepared and focused, and that also reduces my stress and anxiety levels. I don't go to every networking event. I've got my select few that I go to now, and I know I can leave if I've had enough, if I'm just done, it's okay, I can leave, and that's fine. I don't work standard hours. I work when I'm most productive, which can change day to day. It can change depending on if I've got meetings with schools or medical appointments regarding my children. As a carer, particularly with my youngest, I'm his registered carer, so I need flexibility to deal with that and therefore not work at those times. So I work when I'm most productive, but also flexible around that. My clients get better work because I'm producing it when my brain is functioning at its best. I try to batch create content and schedule it to go out. The content is better because it's curated carefully when I'm in a creative flow. And then I'm less stressed because I'm not panicking that I've got to put something out. I don't offer every service that clients ask for, but I can refer them to professionals that I've met whilst out networking and building my network and my community. And then I know who are the best people to refer to. So what would your business look like if you ran it completely your way? If you ignored all the shoulds and musts and whatever, what would you do? Different hours? Market yourself differently? Structure your entire business model differently? You don't need anyone to tell you that it's okay. You just need to give yourself the freedom to do what works. So maybe identify one rule you've been following that's making your business harder than it needs to be. Maybe it's working hours or networking or how you communicate with your clients. But ask yourself, is this actually serving my business, or am I doing it because I'm supposed to? If it's not serving you, what would work better? What would you do if you gave yourself complete freedom to run your business your way? Start implementing that. Start small if you need to, change one thing, see how it feels. Adjust your approach based on what actually works for your brain, your life, your business. You may lose potential clients who want you to work differently, but that's okay because they probably weren't your ideal clients anyway. You'll attract clients who value how you work because your approach creates excellent results. You might get questions or pushback from people who don't understand, but that's okay too. You don't owe anyone an explanation. You can simply say, this is how I work best and this is how I can provide excellent service to my clients. The most successful businesses are the ones that play to their owner's strength and work with their reality and not against it. So stop trying to force yourself into someone else's business model. Build your own one. You're unique. Have your own unique business model that works for you. There are no universal rules for how to run a business. There are only approaches that work or don't work for your specific situation. So give yourself permission to do what works, even if it's different from anyone else. So what's one rule that you would like to stop following? What would your ideal business look like if you designed it completely around what works for you? I'd love to hear your thoughts. So drop me an email at lucy@crescentdigitalmarketing.co.uk. Send me a DM, leave a comment on the podcast. I'd love to hear from you. Whilst you're at it, please drop me a follow wherever you're consuming this episode. Share it with anyone who you think might enjoy it. I'd be really grateful for your support. Thank you again to the wonderful team at Purple Frog Science for sponsoring this podcast, and I will see you all next time.